I was working as a cook at a nursing home in Pine Prairie, and my mom was supposed to go pick my kids up. She had just got her car, her Dodge Charger, her dream car. She was in love with it. And the kids, of course, it's a sports car. It's cool. They wanted to ride in it. And she loved my kids. She always had them. I was on my break. I was looking through Facebook, and somebody had posted that there was a white car that had gotten a really bad accident. So I tried to call my mom because they said it was a white Dodge Charger and she was the only one that had one. And she didn't answer. I thought maybe she was driving it. I knew it was her, but at the same time I didn't want it to be her, so I didn't want to believe that part of it. So I waited a little while and I kept calling and she didn't answer, so I drove to the school to see if maybe she was still there, if something had happened. Then I called my husband and he said the kids had got off the bus at the house, and I knew something was really wrong. My grandmother called me, my mom's mom, and I could hear the tears in her voice, and she said, "Elsie's here." And I said, just tell me. And she said, "She's gone." And I could just screaming her name. And my kids screaming her name because they knew when I said it, the way I said it, that she was gone. We pulled up and I was a little intimidated and scared. I'd never really been in a lawyer's office before in my life. We went in and spoke to them about, what we were looking for, what we wanted to get out of it, which for any of us wasn't really the money.
Sometimes the goal is more than just a check at the end of the case. And in this particular situation with this particular family, that was secondary. They really wanted somebody to take responsibility for what happened, and they wanted somebody to say sorry. Everybody spoke out and told me that from the very beginning, was that nobody ever called them. Nobody said anything. Nobody said sorry.
Roger would tell us that he was having trouble fighting back the tears listening to us talk about my mom and how great she was. They cared. They cared so much about all of us.
Her mother was tragically killed when she was on her way to pick up her young grandchildren at elementary school. A tree fell and crushed her, automobile and her. The tree was on a piece of property that belonged to a timber company. So their argument was, well, they didn't have any responsibility because they didn't know that there was a tree that was about to fall down from their property.
Multiple companies knew about the tree. Multiple people knew that it was rotten. It had been rotten for years.
And they came in and clear-cut the property. And that was a timber cutting company that came out and cut all the trees that were marketable. But they left this tree standing.
No one took the time to block off a small section of the road and cut it down.
The state of Louisiana had an inspector that went by every week and inspected Highway 13 up and down. And he never noticed that there was this rotten tree over 7 years of 52 times a year going by it and inspecting it. So there were a whole bunch of folks that were at fault, and that led to some difficulty in putting the case together for the Terrio family.
Because nobody else's family needs to go through what our family went through. And I pray every day that the case opened their eyes. It was never about the money for us. Every one of us would give every penny of it back to have my mom back. It was the hope that we could make them accountable and make them realize that they had to fix the way they were doing things.
And the teams that are put together at Baggett McCall always bring compassion and a sense of heart to the case.